Competitive Pokemon sounds simple enough. 2 trainers, 6 Pokemon, whoever faints first loses. Easy, right? Well, not exactly, because behind every battle, there's a hidden cost. And no, I don't mean a grinding cost or an opportunity cost. I mean an actual dollar cost. Cold, hard Pokédollar. What if I told you building a full, tournament-ready Pokemon team is expensive? Like, really, really expensive. Between max IVs, EV training, held items, and the perfect movesets, building a competitive Pokemon team is so much more expensive than trainers even realize. And by the end of this video, we're going to be able to find out how much it actually costs to build a full competitive Pokemon team in Pokédollars and in real dollars. I actually got this idea after watching WolfeyVGC, one of the best competitive Pokemon players on YouTube. He has hundreds of perfectly optimized teams at his disposal. He's able to shake up his team whenever he wants and have a perfectly competitive team. So it got me thinking, how much does he spend in Pokédollars to have all these crazy teams? Because I know from personal experience, trying to max out my starter with max IVs, max EVs, it is really expensive. So having hundreds of teams at your disposal, like WolfeyVGC, I just don't understand how that happens. So let's break it down. For anyone new to competitive Pokemon, here's a quick rundown. You need 6 Pokemon, each of them to their absolute max, with maxed IVs, EVs, held items, nature, the perfect moveset. It's overwhelming, and if one of these things is missing or off, your chances of winning drop dramatically. It has to be optimized to perfection. We're talking about a single stat point makes a difference between one-hit KOing your opponent or fainting that same turn. In a turn-based game, every single move and stat point is so incredibly crucial. Now, quick disclaimer, not everything in competitive Pokemon can be bought. Most everything can, but some things may be omitted, like getting a hidden ability. You're not able to actually buy that with Pokédollars, but I'm going to be taking a look at everything that you can buy with Pokédollars, so keep that in mind. All right, let's get into the numbers. So part 1, let's start with the IVs. Now, think of IVs, or individual values, as your Pokemon's genetics. Normally, these are set when your Pokemon is born or acquired, but just like in the real world, money can buy anything. Thanks to bottle caps, you are able to genetically modify your Pokemon to have the maxed genetics in a specific stat. Don't ask me how a simple bottle cap rewrites DNA, but I'm gonna roll with it and it helps us out. So, one bottle cap costs 20,000 Pokédollars. Each Pokemon has 6 IV stats. That's 6 bottle caps per Pokemon, and with a full team of 6 Pokemon, that means you need 36 bottle caps to have a maxed IV team. This comes out to 720,000 Pokédollars, or $4,835 United States. If you're curious on how we got that United States to Pokédollar conversion, check out one of my recent Pokemon videos. We have a custom conversion rate, and it's really neat. It's really accurate as well. So if you're curious about that, check it out. But that's just the start. This is just for IVs. And as we progress through the video, I'm going to keep a running total, almost like a receipt, so you can keep up with how much we're spending on our competitive team. So step 2 is natures. Think of natures as your Pokemon's personality, adamant, bold, calm, those type of things. Natures also tweak your Pokemon stats, boosting one stat and lowering another. To fix or optimize your Pokemon's personality to get the most out of their stats, Pokemon has mints. Quick example, let's say your Arcanine is a physical attacker, which most are. If you're going to want to get the most out of your Arcanine, you're going to want to have a nature or personality that boosts its physical attack. So we would want to go buy an adamant mint, which boosts your Arcanine's attack, making him that much stronger. Like I said earlier, a couple stat points can mean the difference in winning and losing. So each mint costs 20,000 Pokédollars. And considering we have a team of 6, we will need 6 of these, coming out to 120,000 Pokédollars to have a full team of the correct personality Pokemon. Equating that to real world United States dollars comes out to about $805 for this. So here's our running total. We are at 840,000 Pokédollars, or 5,641 United States dollars. Next, we have to get into EVs, or effort values. Unlike IVs, which are individual values and follow a Pokemon's genetic profile, EVs are based on how hard it trains. So even if your Pokemon has perfect genetics from IVs, if you don't train the EVs, it's gonna be relatively useless and won't reach its full potential. And just like real life, training, whether it's in the weight room or on the track or training in whatever, it takes some time. Unless you have performance enhancing drugs. Well, in Pokemon, they're called vitamins, but they're pretty much steroids. This is kind of getting into the weeds of how EVs work, but if you're watching this video, I'm sure you know how it works. But to keep it simple, every Pokemon has a max of 510 EVs. Each vitamin will give you 10 EVs, meaning if you want to buy a perfectly steroided Pokemon, you need 51 vitamins to max out your training or EVs. Each vitamin costs 9,800 Pokédollars. So just to max out the EVs for one Pokemon, you would need 51 vitamins, which almost comes out to 500,000 Pokédollars. And for 6, 2,998,800 Pokédollars. And in United States dollars, this comes out to $20,178. This is the single most expensive part about building a competitive Pokemon team. And kind of how I look at it, it's like having the training for a boxer or trying to raise a competitive racehorse. There's so much that goes into it. So looking at our running total receipt, we're at 3,838,800 Pokédollars. And in United States dollars, we're at $25,779. So now that our Pokemon is genetically perfect and trained to the max, let's give it some drip or held items. These can completely change how a battle takes place. Held items allow for your Pokemon to have special moves or special advantages. For example, let's say you're using Garchomp, not the fastest Pokemon in the world, but let's say you wrap it in a fabulous Choice Scarf. Not only is he gonna look awesome, but he's also gonna be able to move faster than any other Pokemon, albeit having to be locked into one move. But with how strong Garchomp is, especially with something like Earthquake, Choice Scarf is phenomenal. Being able to move before any other Pokemon and do insane damage, it's OP. Most of the competitive held items are pretty expensive. The Choice Band, Choice Scarf, Choice Specs, they come in at 100,000 Pokédollars. Some other competitive viable options like Assault Vest, Life Orb, those come in at around 50,000 Pokédollars. So just to keep a nice average, we're going to take 60,000 Pokédollars and allocate that to each Pokemon for a held item. So since we're taking the average of 60,000 Pokédollars for the held item, multiply that by 6 Pokemon, that comes out to 360,000 Pokédollars. And if we're looking at United States dollars, that's 2,418 USD. Looking at our running total receipts again, we're at 4,198,800 Pokédollars, or 28,196 US dollars. While everything up until this point is so crucial, I don't know if there's a more crucial part than the Pokemon's moveset. Your perfect Incineroar is useless if it only knows Tackle and Tail Whip. Like I said, everything before this is absolutely useless if you don't have the right moves. A lot of moves are learned naturally through level up, but many of the best moves must be taught by technical machines, or TMs. In my testing, on average, a competitive Pokemon will learn about 2 of their competitive movesets by level up, meaning we're only gonna have to buy 2 movesets per Pokemon. Like I said, on average, based on my testing. So your perfect Metagross may learn Bullet Punch and Meteor Mash. That goes into your competitive set. But the rest of the moves may not be viable for your team. This is where you'll have to buy something like Earthquake and Thunder Punch to make your Metagross more well-rounded and more competitively viable. And of course, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the most recent entries to the Pokemon generation, took away the ability to just buy TMs. You have to craft them now. So what I'm going to do, since Sword and Shield was the most recent generation with buyable TMs, I'm going to take the prices from that game just because that's still going to be relevant. Those Pokemon that were in Sword and Shield are still relevant and competitive Pokemon today. So I'm going to use those prices. Much like the held items, the prices of TMs can range drastically. Something like Earthquake is going to cost way more than something like Tailwind. Again, based on my testing and on average, you're going to spend about 50,000 Pokédollars to get a TM for your Pokemon. So looking at this, we're going to need 2 moves per Pokemon, which we have 6 of, meaning we're going to have to buy 12 moves or TMs. That's 600,000 Pokédollars to have all of your Pokemon learn the right moveset. Like I said, this is an average based on my testing. Your Pokemon may need 3 TM moves, or your Pokemon may need only 1 TM move. So this is just an average. In United States dollars, this comes out to about $4,030 United States. So our receipt is long enough. Let's get the final total. So the final total for our fully competitive Pokemon team is 4,798,800 Pokédollars, or 32,226 real world United States dollars. That's enough money if it was converted to United States dollars to buy a brand new car just for one team of competitive Pokemon. And if you're someone like WolfeyVGC, you don't just have one. Let's just say at a minimum you have 5. That's 24 million Pokédollars, or a measly 161,000 United States dollars. And if you have hundreds of teams, I don't even want to know how much that is. That is absolutely insanity. Of course, let's be real. Everyone hacks their Pokemon to skip all of this. But hey, at least we know the true costs of building an entire competitive Pokemon team. What do you think? Would you ever spend this amount of money, either in Pokédollars or real life, to have a competitive team? Or are you just rolling with your in-game story team? If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think. I love analyzing finance and video games and weird costs that other people don't think of. So if that interests you, stick around, check out some of my other videos. Thanks. And if you have any other economics or finance topics you'd like me to analyze next, let me know.